Okay, today in this little video we're going to talk about making some simple line plots in R, and this is something that you're going to be interested in doing in this course. So what we're going to do is go ahead and I'm going to show you how to sort of create some code over here in the script editor, and then how to execute it and how we can get some plots. Well, we're going to deal with simple line plots which have an x-axis and a y-axis, so we're going to go ahead and think about where we can get some XY data. Maybe our x-axis is going to be time and our y-axis is going to be temperature. And so I went ahead and found some data here. This is the South Pole annual temperature from January, February, March, April, May, all the way through the whole year. We have their average daily temperature in centigrade, and we're going to want to go ahead and try and make this plot. So what we're going to do is we're going to rearrange our windows here. I'm going to take my RStudio window and I'm going to grab the bottom of it and I'm going to shrink it to half my screen. And then what I can do is also take this little middle bar here and just kind of hide the environment and the plotting plane, so that gives me a place to still write some code. And then I'm going to arrange this so that I can still see the data on this side. And I'm going to be dealing with the average daily temperature at the South Pole. So what are we going to do here? Well, first I want my x-axis. I'm just going to make this a capital X. And I'm going to assign it with my concatenate function again, or my combine function is going to be the months. And in this case, I'm just going to do the months 1 through 12, or yeah, 1 through 12. That'll be fine. And so that's going to give me a vector of 1 through 12 numbers. That'll be January through December. And if I run that, you'll see, and if I type X, you'll see there's my months, 1 through 12 months. My Y values now are going to be these values here, these average daily temperatures. So I'm going to do a concatenate, open parentheses, and you guys can go ahead and follow along when you make this. Let's see, the temperature for January is on average minus 28.2. For February is minus 40.9. Let's see, March minus 54, April minus 57.3, May is minus 57, June is minus 58, July is minus 59.7, August is minus 60, September is minus 59.4, October is minus 51.1, and November is minus 38.3, December is minus 27.5, and I'm going to close my parentheses here. And you'll notice that each value that I put in here is separated by a comma, so I should have 12 values here. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, good. So I have an X and I have a Y. So let's go ahead and run those two things. I have X and I have Y, so I've got my values, and so what I'm going to do is now go ahead and open my RStudio window up again, and then grab my little hash on the side here, this middle pane, and bring this back over, and you'll see, yes, okay, we see our two things showing up here. And now what we're going to do is do a simple line plot. So let's go ahead and query the plot function, which is this question mark plot. And this is generic XY plotting. And so you'll see that we have plot. We want to put our X values in there, our Y values in there. And then there's a series of arguments that are useful to you. And I'll point a few of them out to you how to make these things. And again, there's examples down here of what plot can do that you can work with yourself. But for our little example, let's go ahead and type plot x, y. See what happens. So we run plot x, y, and this is what we get. We get a here's our x-axis of 1 to 12 months, And here's our y-axis, here's in temperature, and we see that general shape that we saw before on the profile. If we look back over here, yeah, it's this blue line. So we have that, but you'll notice that our plot looks quite different than what that does. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add some features to it. And one of the main features that we want to add is maybe a description of the axis. So we're going to go ahead and put in, there's an argument called xlab, and what this is the x label. And our x label in this case is going to be a text string called month. There we go. So if we run this now, you'll see that what we've done is we've changed our x-axis to month. So far so good. How about our y-axis? What were we plotting again? Well, that was the average daily temperature. Okay. So we're going to put over here ylab equals average daily temperature in C, in Celsius. And so if we run that now, you'll see that we get something on the y-axis, average daily temperature. Well, let's add something else, so we had our x data, our y data, and then we said we're going to add another argument, which is what we want our label of our x-axis to be, then comma, another argument, what we want the label of our y-axis to be. Let's go ahead and do one called main. So main is going to be a title for this thing, and we can say that this is what? South Pole annual temperature. So I can go and put that in. South Pole temperature. Okay, so and we're adding things to our plot to make them look nice. And so, oh, okay, there we go. So we've got our month, we've got our daily temperature, and we've got our basic plot. Now, there's a couple things that we can try, which is now going to be the type of plot that we want to look at. And this now, if we go back to our help page, plot, and we scroll down here and you see this argument type. So type can be anything that we can put type equals something, and quote P for points, which is the default, quote L for lines, B for both, and this tells O for overplotted, S for stair step, so on and so forth. So well, what are we going to do here? We're going to say let's go ahead and make this a line plot first. And we'll go ahead and run this, and that'll switch back to our plotting lane, and we can see that we've done that. But I prefer actually the O function, which is overplotting. It shows both the points and the lines, which I prefer, because I think it shows you where the data points were taken, but then kind of fills in the gap for your eye of, you know, what you might expect in middle parts of the month. There's some other things that we can do here. One is called the point character. And if we think just real quickly here, we can decide what kind of point character we want. And so maybe that's an open circle, maybe that's a triangle, maybe that's something along those lines. But in this case, I'm going to change our point character to, the default is 1. Of course, if we run this, our default is going to be then this circle. In this case, if we pick number 2, that's going to mean something else to R. That turns out to be open triangles. I happen to know that I like number 20, which is filled circles, but you can experiment with these. You can put in number 5 or number 10 or what it is that you like, and you can see how that comes out. I also like dealing with the line weights. So there's a function called LWD, or an argument, that we decide how thick we want the line to be. And the default is 1. But we might give it a 2 to increase the line weight. And we run this whole thing again, you'll see that we've thickened up the line there a little bit. And you can see that now it's starting to look a little bit nicer, right? We've got a nice line there. We can sort of see what's going on. And what I'd like to do now is maybe even change the color. So after line weight, we're going to add another argument here, call. And call, let's see, what do I want the color to be? Maybe I can pick, you can pick red, blue, yellow, green, any, there's all kinds of colors. let's just try blue. Add that. Oh, now we got blue. And so now we're changing all different things. We got our different lines, we got our different points, all in making a nice, nice line plot here. Well, so that's a basic line plot. Just doing these are ones that we're going to be working with in the course, and now you know how to take basic x values, basic y values, and plot them together. Now, if you've written this into your code, you'll notice that it'll say untitled 1 star, and one thing that you might want to consider doing is just saving this, and we can save this wherever we want. Maybe we'll just put it on the desktop, and we'll call this simple xy plot.r, and we can save that, and now this is a file that you can open, and this will get recreated. So once you have your plot and your code saved, one of the questions that comes up is, what do I do with this? Well, what do I do with this plot? What can I do with it? Well, that's where this little thing called export comes down, and you can save the image, right? So you can copy it to a clipboard, which means that it'll bring this window up, and you can copy it and paste it anywhere. You can paste it in an email, paste it in a Word document, or you can save it as an image. You have the option to name a directory, give it a file name. This might be South Pole Temp, and go ahead and save that. That'll be saved somewhere, or you can save it as a PDF file. Give it a directory, whatever it is you're putting it, and a file name, right? So this is maybe pole plot, whatever it is that you want. Let's view the plot after we save it. So if we do that, we'll go ahead and save it, and then it should automatically open preview. There it is. There's our plot. And you'll notice it's a little bit distorted, but those are settings that you can play with. And sometimes the easiest thing is just to go ahead and copy to the clipboard and paste it to wherever you want. So once you have that, you can take your plot and put it anywhere. Okay, that's the ending of our introduction for simple XY plots, and thanks for watching.